The day my husband, Mark, told me he was leaving me for another woman, the world didn't just stop. It shattered into a million tiny pieces. We had been together for 15 years, since college. We built a life, a home, a future, or so I thought. He packed a bag, mumbled something about being sorry, and walked out the door, leaving me standing in the echo of our shared memories. The first few weeks were a blur of tears, ice cream, and sleepless nights. Every corner of our home screamed his name. His favorite mug sat in the cupboard. His side of the bed felt achingly empty. Friends and family rallied around me, offering comfort and platitudes. "You're better off without him," they'd say. "You'll find someone new." But their words felt like trying to patch a dam with a tissue. The other woman, I learned, was named Chloe. She was younger, a yoga instructor he'd met at the gym, a walking glitch. I tortured myself by looking her up online. Perfect smile, perfect body, posts filled with inspirational quotes about following your bliss. It seemed Mark's bliss was now wrapped up in her. The bitterness was a physical taste in my mouth. I wanted to scream, to break things, to make him feel even a fraction of the pain I was drowning in. One night, drowning my sorrows in a glass of cheap wine and scrolling through old photos, I stumbled upon our wedding album. There we were, young, hopeful, promising forever. And then it hit me. Not a wave of sadness this time, but a spark of something else. An idea. It was crazy, audacious, and probably a little bit petty, but it was also brilliant. It was the perfect revenge. You see, for our 10th anniversary, Mark had bought me a piece of land. 10 acres of rugged, untouched wilderness about 2 hours out of the city. It was a grand, romantic gesture. We were supposed to build a cabin there one day, a little getaway for our old age. The deed was solely in my name, a gift, he'd said. In the messy aftermath of the split, he'd completely forgotten about it, but I hadn't. My plan began to form. I wasn't going to sell it. I wasn't going to let it sit there and rot. I was going to turn it into something he could never ignore. The first step was research. I spent weeks learning about zoning laws, sustainable building, and unique business ideas. I discovered a growing trend: glamping, glamorous camping. It was perfect. The land was beautiful, with rolling hills and a small stream. I sold my engagement ring, the diamond that now felt like a shard of glass against my skin. I cashed in some savings bonds my grandmother had left me. It wasn't much, but it was a start. I hired a small local construction crew, a team of two brothers who believed in my vision. We started with one structure, a geodesic dome. It had a king-size bed, a small kitchenette, and a transparent wall that faced the sunrise. The work was grueling. I was out there every single day, hauling lumber, painting, landscaping. My soft office hands became calloused. I was covered in dirt and sweat from sunup to sundown. But for the first time in months, I felt alive. I wasn't just building a glamping site. I was rebuilding myself. With every nail I hammered, I was piecing my own life back together. I named the place the Phoenix Retreat. It felt fitting. Rising from the ashes and all that, I poured my heart into the details. I sourced local art, installed an outdoor bathtub, and created a small wildflower garden. I launched a website and an Instagram page, posting stunning photos of the dome against the starry night sky. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Bookings flooded in. People were desperate for an escape, for a slice of the peace I had found in those woods. Within 6 months, the Phoenix Retreat was fully booked for the entire year. I was a business owner, a successful one. But the revenge part? Oh, it was coming. I waited for the perfect moment. A local travel magazine decided to do a feature story on unique getaways, and they chose the Phoenix Retreat for their cover story. The article was glowing, complete with breathtaking photos and an interview with me, the resilient woman who turned heartbreak into a haven. The day the magazine hit the stands, I bought 10 copies. I mailed one to Mark's office. I didn't include a note. I didn't have to. The cover photo said it all. It was a picture of me, standing in front of the dome, smiling. A real, genuine smile. I looked happy, radiant, and powerful. The headline read, "From Ashes to Empire: How Sarah Built the Phoenix Retreat on the Land Her Ex-Husband Forgot." A few days later, I got a text from him. I saw the magazine, the land. I can't believe it. Then another one. "It looks amazing, Sarah. I'm sorry." His words were hollow. He wasn't sorry for breaking my heart. He was sorry he'd missed out. He'd underestimated me, forgotten my strength. But the best part of my revenge wasn't his regret. It was my success. It was the joy I saw on my guests' faces. It was the pride I felt looking at what I had built with my own hands. The anger and bitterness had been the fuel, but the fire had forged something new and beautiful. A few months ago, I was on site, checking in a new couple, when a familiar car pulled up the gravel driveway. It was Mark. He got out, looking older and more tired than I remembered. He said he and Chloe had broken up. He said he'd made a terrible mistake. He looked around at the thriving business, at the second dome we were just finishing, and he asked if there was any chance for us. I looked at him, the man who had torn my world apart, and I didn't feel anger or sadness. I felt nothing. He was a stranger. "I'm sorry, Mark," I said, echoing the words he'd once given me. "But this life I've built, there's no room for you in it." I turned and walked away, back to my retreat, my sanctuary, my empire. My revenge wasn't about destroying him. It was about building myself. And that was the most legendary victory of all. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you've ever felt like your world has fallen apart, remember that sometimes the ashes are just the starting point for building something incredible. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.